Greetings, sports fans nationwide. You've entered the Sports Opinion Log. Yesterday, any given Sunday, all 32 NFL teams played. Week 17, the final NFL regular season before we head into the wild card weekend. But first, out of all 32 teams, there was one team that didn't lay it on the line. There was one team that just laid down for the nation and the world to see. Sunday Night Football, Eagles against the Washington football team. The Eagles in Philadelphia, in their house. Shout out to my sister Allie P and to Giant fans nation and worldwide who were hoping to go to the playoffs. But clearly, the Philadelphia Eagles hate the Giants more than they hate the Washington football team. But we already saw it coming. We saw it coming when they had a chance to tie the game at 17. They went for it on 4th and 2. And then, of course, out of the blue, Jalen Hurts gets sidelined. Doug Peterson gives some bullshit reason as to why he wanted to give some backup, some snaps, and that he knew that the game was on the line. Blah, blah, bullshit. I could see if the Eagles were on the road. But the Eagles were at home. So I am done with the bullshit from the Philadelphia Eagles, the team, the organization, their fan base, about how they're tough and rough when you literally lay down in your house and let the Washington football team and the one-legged wonder Alex Smith capture the NFC East and a playoff spot. That's not the way it's supposed to go down. Even the Jets went on a 2-game winning streak to avoid going winless on the season. We're not going to compare tanking. I don't care about NFL drafts, NBA, NFL, apples and oranges. You cannot compare it. But I'll be damned. Philadelphia Eagles. The immortal Kobe Bryant would be ashamed and disgusted at the way you guys played and laid out to let the Washington football team walk over your back in your house and capture the NFC East and the playoff spot. But it doesn't matter because this is where Alex Smith and the joyride ends. But before I get into that, I'm going to do a quick recap of all the games and the history that was made on Week 17. So if you're down with all things NFL, AFC or NFC, make sure you're subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon so you get that notification when the next upcoming video drops. Master of the Shovel Pass, which of course Tom Terrific would know. He gave quite a few of them to AB so he could get his incentive bonus. That's what you call a true friend. Let's go. So in no particular order, we had the Buccaneers dropping 44 points as they defeated the Atlanta Falcons. Like the prophet had decreed that the Falcons suck. They ain't shit, never will be shit. And it's another lost season. Tom Terrific, the self-proclaimed GOAT, because here in the Sports Opinion Log, I don't recognize nothing about Tom Terrific. 43, throwing over 40 touchdowns on the season, and the Bucs win 11 games in the season for the first time since 2005. Giants get the win over the Cowboys, 23-19 final score, all for nothing because the Eagles played doormat. The Patriots went out on a winning note, defeating the Jets 28-14. Cam Newton caught a touchdown pass. That was pretty crazy. And once again, no matter how things are bad for New England, they still own the Jets. New England has now won 10 straight games over the New York Jets. And how about the young man who was lighting up all of social media yesterday on Sunday? Remember his name, Justin Jefferson, who has the most receiving yards by a rookie in the Super Bowl era. Label it down, 1,400 yards on the season. And if you did or did not know, this young man did not even start playing until week 3. Imagine if he had played the entire season. The Vikings get the victory, 37-35 final score over the useless inept Lions. But of course, Kirk Cousins, like I said before, they will never, ever get Super Bowl glory, but now they can't even get a playoff spot. For shame, for shame. But before I go away from that, let's take a look at the fancy cleats that Justin Jefferson wore for that game. Take a look. And of course, in one of the most damning losses of the season for the Steelers, they lose to the Browns, 24-22 final score. Mason Rudolph, who is trash. Why the Steelers didn't get Jalen Hurts? You see how we're coming full circle here? I don't know. I have no answers, no explanation. The Browns clinch a playoff spot for the first time since 2002. But guess what? We're once again coming full circle because it will be the Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns in the wild card game. And of course, Ravens 38-3 over the Bengals as the Ravens set a franchise record with 404 rushing yards on the day. Woo! Oh my God, the Bengals. Joe Burrow continue to get better. Speaking of Joe Burrow and rookies, there was no Fitzpatrick, therefore there was no Fitzmagic. Therefore, the Buffalo Bills ran over the Miami Dolphins, 56-26 final score as the Bills, number 2 highest playoff seed since 1993. I'm sure a lot of you weren't even born then, or you probably were born, so now you're probably aware of the history because I'm talking about it, the sports historian. Also the prophet who decreed that 2 a time is trash time. It's garbage time. This should have been a season for him to learn the game instead of Flores putting him in, taking him out, putting him in, taking him out. And now you have nothing because the Dolphins needed that win to get to the playoffs, and now they have nothing at all except a broken Tua who will never captivate the city of Miami the way D. Wade did. Seahawks over the 49ers, 26-23 final score. Metcalf most receiving yards in a season in Seattle history, 1,303. Rams over the Cardinals, 18-7 final score as the Rams clinch a playoff berth. And unfortunately, the Cardinals have been eliminated despite the early season heroics. Remember the Hail Murray to DeAndre Hopkins? They never got it going with a ground game. The previous game, Kyler Murray was injured. He got injured again in this game. Tried to do some miraculous fourth quarter comeback. It was all for nothing, unfortunately. And speaking of all for nothing, Jaguars lose to the Colts 28-14 final score on that one as young man Jay Taylor, franchise record, 253 rushing yards on the day, running up and down all over the field and all through the Jaguars defense, which 2 to 4 seasons ago was pretty good. But we have fleeting memories, so nobody cares. But you know what we care about? We care about Tannehill. We care about Derrick Henry. 34 rushes, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8th player in NFL history to hit the 2,000-plus rushing yard mark. As the Titans get the victory, 41-38 over the Texans. Deshaun Watson, he played his heart out, but it was all for nothing. And speaking of all for nothing, Raiders over the Broncos, 32-31 final score. Vegas Raiders get their first win versus Denver in Week 17 in team history. And speaking of teams and history, Chargers over the Chiefs, 38-21 final score. And of course, let's not forget, it is Black Monday. the day after the NFL regular season ends and head coaches get fired, as the Chargers have fired former coach Lynn. He's been relieved of his duties, but we'll get into that later on in the video. Aaron Rodgers doing what he does best, owning the league. Final score 35-16 as the Packers clinch the #1 seed in the NFC, securing home field advantage. Saints over the Panthers 33-7 final. Washington football team over the Philadelphia Eagles, the doormats of the NFC. Final score on that 20-14, and they clinch, again, as previously mentioned, the NFC East. And with that being said, let the prophet make his decrees. NFL Wild Card Weekend. Woo! And like my sister Allie P said, what do they want us to do? Be glued to our TVs for the rest of our lives? NFL Wild Card Weekend. Bright lights will be activated. National stage will be set. Not one, not two, but 3 games, Saturday and Sunday. Master of the shovel pass, the prophet shall decree who will rise and who will fall. Saturday, January 9th, starting at 1:05 p.m., we have the Colts taking on the Bills, of course, in Buffalo. Look for the Bills to advance. At 4:40, the Rams against the Seahawks. I look for Russell Wilson to do his thing and advance over the Rams. And at 8:15, we have the Buccaneers on the road taking on the Washington football team. Buccaneers on this one. Sunday, January 10th, starting at 1:05, we have the Ravens taking on the Titans in Tennessee. Look for the Titans to win because, let's face it, folks, when Derrick Henry gets into the open field, no one wants to touch him, no one wants to tackle him, and that's just the way things are. 4:40, the Bears at the Saints. The Saints will be at home. Look for the Saints to advance. Pittsburgh at 8:15, prime time. Cleveland Browns taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And with that being said, you know why I'm here. Representing the Steel City from New York City, Lex Anderson. You know what it is. Cue that black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. See, we got it. We're repping it. Wearing the winter hat today because it's nice and cold. Whew, and it'll definitely be cold in Pittsburgh that day. Yeah, Cleveland's going to get stomped out. This will definitely be a big-time revenge game because the Steelers are the reason why they advanced. So now we brought them in to kick them the fuck out. That's what I'm talking about. Black Monday and the openings, the vacancies that I, the top 1%er and the people sportscaster, who will say what the nationwide sports leader, the Foxies, the corporate shells, they've sold their soul to the almighty dollar. I'll talk about it. Lack of African-American NFL head coaches. We have some openings, and you best believe, sports fans nationwide, I will be standing here at the helm, front and ready to talk about who gets hired and who doesn't get hired in regards to this much heralded, much wanted, much glorified position, NFL head coach. Earlier, it was breaking news. The New York Jets fired Adam Gase, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's out of here. What, 9-23? Horrible. But again, he also sucked with the Dolphins. Again, hire an African-American man to be your head coach. Jacksonville Jaguars, they fired Marone. And, of course, the Chargers fired Lynn. And earlier in the season, of course, the Texans, Falcons, and Detroit Lions fired their respective head coaches. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 NFL head coaching vacancies. But we all know what it is, sports fans nationwide. You got to have the complexion for the connection. And it's a who you know world. And unfortunately, if you don't know the right people, despite the NFL talking about their hiring practices and adding draft pick incentives, it is what it is. But you best believe I will be here to talk about it when these vacancies are filled. I want to add this much in regards to Lynn, who did sign a 1-year extension, but the Chargers went 7-9. And let's not forget the previous season, 2019, when 9 of the Chargers' 11 losses were by 1 score. And he wasted the talent of Justin Herbert this season, who set all types of NFL rookie records. NFL rookie record 31 touchdown passes, and he also set an NFL rookie record for completions with 396. Like, you can't be wasting these kind of efforts. Honestly, you can't. So, as unfortunate as it is, the Chargers did the right thing. Sports fans nationwide, thank you very much for tuning in. Let me know what you're thinking about the NFL head coaching vacancies. Make sure you're dropping a comment below. And if you've come this far into this video, be a part of it. The road to 1,000 subscribers, it starts with you. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon so you get that notification on the next upcoming future video. And again, as usual, if you're on IGTV, which you are because I'm posting this video right there, when you're done, or even if you haven't come all the way, make sure you go to the bio. Link is there. Press it. It takes you straight to my YouTube channel. The subscribe button is right there to your right. Literally, in 1 minute, you can be a subscriber. And I look forward to you joining me on this journey to 1,000 subscribers. 2021, it will belong to the Sports Opinion Log by hook or by crook. I might look at the jerseys in my background, for God's sake. I'm literally like, there's literally like $1,000 standing behind me. Until next time, sports fans nationwide. Sports fashion icon, of course, rocking the new era with the palm, winter fitted, Steel City, Pittsburgh Steelers hat. Lex Anderson signing out.